The crew pulls gold, the numbers look strong, morale shoots up, and then the access shuts. Trucks stop. The ground goes quiet. From the outside, it feels confusing. Why slow down right after a win? In gold country, a pause can be a power move. When winter is on the way and every hour costs money, shutting a gate is not about quitting. It's about protecting the best ground and setting up for a bigger push. The team had just proven there was real value in the Alaska cut. That's exactly why locking it down mattered. Keep traffic off the richest pay, prevent ruts, avoid contamination, and come back with the right setup. A quick stop can save weeks of damage control later. What looks like drama is often discipline, and this operation needed discipline because the clock in Alaska keeps ticking even when the gold is flowing. The next step would decide whether this win turned into a streak or slipped away as wasted yardage. But that wasn't the whole story. The real pressure was the season itself, and the season was not waiting for anyone. The schedule was brutal, the weather even worse, and that's where the strategy really starts. Alaska is not a friendly boss. Days are long until they suddenly aren't. Temperatures flip from manageable to punishing. Permafrost waits underfoot like a trap. In that kind of place, time is the real currency. When the crew opened up new ground, they weren't just chasing gold. They were racing a deadline they could not move. A mine that runs late pays twice, once in diesel and wages, and again in the ounces that never make it to the scale because ice and mud shut the party down. That's why sudden closures happen right after wins. The ground is hot, but the system might not be. If the plant is limping, if the conveyors aren't lined up, if the haul roads are chewing the face to pieces, every minute of running can smear value into the waste pile. Better to bank the win, fix the bottleneck, and return with a setup that recovers every possible gram. The plan in Alaska split into smart chunks. One crew went deep into untouched material at Wolfcut, hungry for big payoff, but knowing it would cost sweat and time. Another crew at Driftcut hunted the kind of find that funds an entire season. Splitting like that can feel risky, but it widens the search grid and multiplies chances. Weeks turned into a blur of digging, hauling, and testing. Everyone knew the math. If both teams hit, the season transforms. If only one hits, the other needs to catch up fast. Pressure rose, cameras caught the tension. Sure, but the real stress came from diesel burn, maintenance windows, and that silent enemy, winter, closing in. Then came the breakthrough. Wolfcut delivered, and it delivered big. Not long after, Driftcut hit pay too. Two green lights meant momentum. The mine that looked like a gamble suddenly looked like a plan. And still, the decision landed. Lock the win, slow the traffic, and get ready for maximum recovery. It felt harsh in the moment, but harsh choices are cheaper than sloppy ones. The crews could celebrate for a second. Then they had to face the next truth. Machines decide everything. If the iron isn't right, the gold doesn't stay. And the iron had a lot to say. Gold is a materials handling problem. That's the part non-miners miss. You can find a rich cut and still lose if your plant leaks value. Wash plants, conveyors, screens, and sluices turn dirt into money. If any part of that chain fails, the ground pays you less than it should. That's why the team kept pushing to bring a bigger, better setup online. The old plant had history, but history doesn't move yards. The rented unit kept the lights on, yet rentals come with headaches. A misaligned tailings conveyor eats time. A worn screen lets big rocks punch through. A slight angle error in the setup steals recovery all day long. The crew worked through a long list fast. Line up the cleaner, place the giant conveyor with care, adjust, test, repeat. The goal was clear. Get the new rocket red wash plant processing at a pace that actually matches the ground. Numbers like 150 loads an hour, not wishful thinking. Every mistake here multiplies downstream, so the crew kept tuning and checking until the system started to act like a system. While that happened, real life got in the way. Key people rotated. Mitch's absence at a crucial moment meant moving parts had to cover more ground. Tyson stepped up. A newer operator, Evan, showed the kind of awareness that saves a day. Catch the rock clog early, and you rescue finds. Miss it, and you watch ounces vanish into the tailings. The big red plant became both a hero and a headache. It could chew through pay when fed right, but it also demanded respect. A broken screen allowed oversized rock to slip in. That overloaded areas threw off flow and starved recovery. The fix wasn't glamorous. It meant shutting things down, wrestling parts out, slotting new hardware in, and double-checking every bolt. All of this explains a shutdown better than any rumor. Close the gate, pull the conveyors, break the bad habit before it breaks you. False speed is expensive. Real speed happens when the line runs clean. Once the screen swapped in and the sluice block cleared, the machine settled into the rhythm everyone needed. Gold doesn't care about feelings, but it responds to good engineering. With the line steady, the team had the confidence to push. The next test was the scale, and even the scale had its quirks. It was calibrated for regular ounces, not troy. That didn't stop anyone. It gave a ballpark, and the ballpark looked strong. The target, about an ounce an hour, was aggressive. The first weigh showed they were close. Not perfect, but promising. Money on the table. The ground was paying, but the internet loves a mystery more than a maintenance story. A quiet site after a big haul gets attention. People see trucks stop and imagine secrets. Some swear the gold was so good that the mine got sealed to hide something. The truth is usually simple. The best ground needs protection. Heavy traffic rips it apart. A limping plant spreads fine gold where it doesn't belong. When the numbers look strong, the best move is to do the boring work that makes them stronger. Rebuild a screen, realign a conveyor, bring in the bigger plant, and reset the haul pattern so the pay face stays clean. That means gates closed and fewer wheels on the ground for a moment. There's also the human side that rumors skip. Crews get tired. Weather flips. Equipment needs more than a quick patch. A single broken part can throw off the whole balance of water flow, vibration, and capture. If the sluice runs wrong, it doesn't matter how rich the cut is. You're throwing value away. Pausing after a win may look like a plot twist, but it's really a safety net for the season totals. The team in Alaska wasn't acting mysterious. They were acting responsible. They wanted the ounces counted in months, not in minutes. Viewers also hear big numbers and expect fireworks forever. Sometimes the math says otherwise. The right call is to move iron to the cut that multiplies throughput, not just add a machine where it looks impressive. When the larger wash plant is almost ready, you don't keep blasting the rich face with a weaker setup. You stand down, finish the build, and come back at full strength. That's how you turn great days into a great season. While the outside world chased clues, the crew focused on corrections. And inside that world, respect matters. Rewards matter. Culture turns fixes into victories. The gold stays when the crew stays sharp. And this crew earned more than a pat on the back. In mining, paychecks arrive in ounces, but wins come from people. Promotions happen in real time. Someone proves they can handle a loader under pressure. Someone else catches a change in water flow before it ruins recovery. That awareness is value. Evan spotted a clog that would have cost real money. Mitch and Tyson juggled two plants on the edge of the schedule, choosing what to shut, what to feed, and what to fix. Clearing the screen wasn't fun. It was necessary. Oversized rock was sneaking through and messing up the process. That kind of problem steals gold slowly, and slow theft is the hardest to notice. Swapping in the new screen stopped the bleed. Then came the kind of moment crews remember. After a grind of digging, tuning, and troubleshooting, Parker showed appreciation in a way that actually meant something on a mining crew, gold in hand. The team received a massive thank you, $122,000 worth, split as a gift that said the season's push was real and their effort counted. Moments like that lock in loyalty. On hard ground, loyalty is worth time, and time is money. The gesture echoed through the site. People felt seen. After days of wrestling with Big Red, clearing blockages, and checking the super stacker, it mattered to hear that their work turned the tide. Big Red became a symbol of that momentum. Once the plant ran with the new screen and a clean sluice, it produced. A test showed solid grams. Talk around camp pushed hopes even higher. A big week started to look possible. Numbers that could hit the kind of total that changes a season. The mood lifted, but the focus stayed tight, because machines forget about your good mood as soon as the next rock jams in the wrong place. Everyone kept eyes on flow, angle, and feed. The plan was simple. Keep Big Red fed, keep the entrance managed, and harvest as much as the ground would give before the freeze said stop. Birthdays even found a place in the schedule. The team marked Mitch's day with a golden surprise that fit the season's theme. Gratitude paid in the language miners respect. Jokes flew, stress eased, and the crew went right back to work. That's how you survive an Alaska season. You celebrate for a minute, then you put your hands on the next problem. And there was always a next problem. The most important problem, though, was the one that kept the season honest. The balance between image and reality. The outside world talks about fame and fortune. The inside world talks about faces and flow rates. People online love a clean story. They list net worth numbers and guess where the money really comes from. They compare television to dirt and argue about which one pays more. The crew on the ground doesn't have time for that. The job is to turn cuts into ounces before the weather shuts the door. Parker's approach lines up with that job. The flashy spending never shows up in garages or wild toys. It shows up as new plants, better conveyors, and paid-up crews. If something looks expensive, it usually connects to throughput or morale. The private math is straightforward. If the plant recovers more today, you earn learn more tomorrow. If the crew believes in the mission moves faster. At the same time, the personal side appeared in small pieces. Travel here and there. Time with the dog in the snow. Catching up with people who make the show and the mine work. Nothing over the top. No permanent home locked in. The life looked like the ground. Mobile, demanding, and focused on what actually matters. That explains a choice that confuses onlookers, shutting down a promising face. It reads like a cliffhanger, but it's just a guardrail. Protect grade. Fix the weak link. Reopen when the line can handle real volume. That's not drama. That's discipline. There's history behind this mindset, too. The path started early, with family roots in Alaska and mining. A grandfather who turned to gold later in life and made the mine a reason to get everyone together. Hard seasons, health scares, equipment moves that took more will than money. A brother who preferred working behind the scenes. The road into this Alaska season carried all of that weight. So when the choice came down to running on a weak plant or pausing for a stronger run, the answer was already decided. The smart move keeps more gold in the mats and less in the tailings. And that brings us to the bottom line everyone cares about: totals. The numbers kept stacking, and a record pull from another crew set the tone for what was possible. Across the field, another team pulled a monster weigh. Hundreds of ounces that pushed close to $600,000 at the time. That kind of result didn't scare anyone on this site. It focused them. Big Red had already shown it could deliver when fed right. The new Rocket Red setup promised to go faster. The earlier weigh-ins, even on a scale not built for gold ounces, told a simple story. The plan worked when the line ran clean. A pause at the entrance protected the good stuff and stopped the site from eating itself. Once the fixes landed, the crew could chase totals for real. The shutdown wasn't a mystery, it was a message. The team had something worth guarding, and the fastest way to grow it was to slow down for a moment, fix the pipeline, and then push harder than before. The maintenance windows, the conveyor placement, the screen swap, the sluice clearing, the careful setup for higher hourly loads. All of it turned a single win into a platform. Without that platform, the site would have kept scoring small victories and losing big value. With it, the site could harvest what the ground actually offered. That's how gold seasons are built. Not with constant motion, but with the right motion. Not with endless noise, but with the kind of quiet that turns into bigger numbers next week. So if the gate looks closed after a great day, don't assume the gold disappeared. Assume the team just chose to keep it. Alaska rewards the mines that know when to press and when to reset. This crew learned that lesson the hard way, and they used it. They faced mechanical trouble, pushed through long days, trusted sharp eyes like Evans, leaned on steady hands like Mitch and Tyson, and kept the focus on recovery, not just footage. That's the real reveal. The shutdown was not a retreat. It was a reset that protected the win and set up the next one. If you want more breakdowns that go past the headlines and into the decisions that make or break a season, subscribe to Gold Era 2.0 so you don't miss new videos. There's more to cover: smarter plant setups, recovery tricks crews use to save fine gold, and the quiet choices that turn a good week into a great year. Stick around, let's keep digging.